Should we do a podcast? Is that like a thing that we do? Or?
We could, I guess.
I mean, I
we're
guess.
here.
I guess we could.
There's something in the air.
Immediately, everyone stops talking.
Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining us on this fucking bullshit. We're your people. You know who we are. Let's do this shit, because Kathy here has got to be done in 90 minutes.
Well, I am for sure leaving that.
Excellent.
So, translation. This is the podcast. There's something in the air. It's a Winona Earp podcast. We recently remembered earlier today.
Not just all three of us fangirling about different shows, or even maybe movies or books. You know, nope, just the one show.
Just the one show.
Just the
supernatural western demon hunting air thing.
Yes.
So, yeah, you're here with BP, Michelle, and Monica. And today, what are we doing? We're doing a what if episode. This is something I think we're probably going to start doing.
Assuming this goes
right
well.
now. Oh, it's doing more of, not just start doing. I'm like, yeah, we're going to do it in like 30 seconds, I think. I'm not allowed to talk anymore.
Yeah, depending on how well this goes, which obviously so far is pretty fantastic.
It really is. We're real good at podcasting.
Well, we decided that we're going to do a what if episode on what appears to be everybody's favorite tertiary character, Kirsten. All right, what if, go.
So the initial what if is, what if Kirsten survived?
So we're saying that, like, she went out, got off the bus, maybe didn't hike, like, 3 miles in the woods to go to the bathroom. Maybe she was within range where Winona could potentially help her when, what was his name? Like, Marcus? Was that his name? I don't know where that came from.
Malcolm.
Malcolm, thank you.
He was an entrepreneur. I'm sorry, that's all I remember.
I mean, I think that's all that we really had before.
I just called him Eye Patch. I don't know.
That was.
Okay, so what if Kirsten didn't go so damn far and Winona was actually able to help her? And then they became best friends.
Obviously, they would become best friends. That's the first thing that would happen.
Winona also would, like, yell at her for, like, why the fuck did you go out into the woods?
I think, too, one of the, like, you know, the show's called Winona Earp, and I think that she is, you know, the most important character on the show. I think one really crazy thing that would have happened is maybe it would have given her some much-needed confidence and made her feel better about who she was as a person. Because obviously she thinks she's been told she's bad all her life, but she still gets off the bus to help this person she doesn't know. But then if she had actually saved her, maybe she would start to feel a little bit more like the hero that we all know that she is.
True, at the beginning she's more reactive to bad things happening, and that probably would have changed everything right off the bat.
I also would have loved to see Kirsten with a tire iron.
Oh my god. Yes. You know those things are lying around Purgatory like every square foot.
Yeah, instead of shovels. I'm kind of jumping ahead to the end of the season here, so I'm sorry. But I think now I realize we got 2 minutes of screen time with Kirsten, but I strongly feel that she would have immediately seen through Willa's bullshit.
Ooh, I'll give you that.
Why, thank you.
I think so too. They had to get rid of her because if they kept her on, she would just be this big old exposition device because she knows everything.
There would be no oblivious Winona. She would be like, oh man, Waverly and Nicole sure are spending a lot of time together. And Kirsten would be like, oh my god, Earp, they're totally dating. And then, you know, we would lose all of that. She and Dolls would just gossip about everybody because they would be the only two who'd know what was happening in town.
Like when Dolls first noticed Nicole swooning over Waverly, and all of those facial expressions he made would be directed at Kirsten.
And she'd be like sipping her chestnut latte and being like, oh, I know.
But she wouldn't keep her mouth shut about it. He didn't say anything. She would have made it into a whole ordeal.
I think you're right.
She probably would have. I think she would have clued Winona in as soon as it started happening, and then B, she would have also like put them in situations to like force them together.
Definitely.
Because Kirsten likes
been, like,
playing with people's lives like that.
Like, maybe Lord Champ and have Waverly, like, maybe that would have been the last straw. And then, but then been, after Waverly, like, went off on him, been like, oh, you're not, there's no way you're getting any of this. And then gone
Ooh,
off
I
to,
like that.
Right? Can you see that happening?
The wily seductress, but she was playing on Waverly's team the whole time.
The entire time.
So where is Kiersten from?
The big city.
Oh my god, you beat me to it. It was right there.
She was on the bus, but okay, so then that's fine. She's from the big city. Where is she going? Or where was she going? Because obviously she's staying in Purgatory now to be the most amazing person ever.
Maybe, this is a good... I wish I had that map up. Is the big city east of Purgatory?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay, so, because Winona asks her if this is her first time out west. So, ideally, they would have been moving west.
Whatever the next big city is, in between the big city and the next big city with Purgatory in between, that's where she's going.
Let's say she's from Toronto.
Okay. Yeah, because, first we have to establish, where did they get on the bus?
That's a real good question, because Winona's on her way back from Greece, right?
Yeah.
So she'd have to fly into one of the major hubs.
So she's coming out of, like, JFK.
It'd be, like, JFK or O'Hare or DFW or, like...
Wouldn't it be a Canadian? It could be a Canadian airport.
What's a huge international airport for Canada? Toronto, maybe?
Let's just go with Toronto. Kiersten's from Toronto. Winona just flew into Toronto. They got on a bus, headed to... What's the end line of that bus?
Calgary.
Okay.
Let's go with Calgary, and then the big city, like the Ghost River Triangle is like an hour or two before Calgary. Assuming that's a city.
Accepted.
Okay, cool. So that's where they came from.
So they drove all the way from Toronto to the Ghost River Triangle, essentially, and never spoke.
Right, until right before she died.
Because Winona had her, like, noise-canceling headphones on and, like, a resting bitch face that was just screaming, I dare you to talk to me.
And Kiersten was on Tumblr, and that was the first time she lost cell service.
Yep. She would be on Tumblr, wouldn't she?
She totally would. Or Pinterest. Oh, Kiersten, you break my heart.
Hey, you can find some really good recipes on Pinterest. Anyway, please continue.
That's not what she was looking at.
Nope.
Okay.
She was thinking about moving to Santa Fe based on those socks. Or that scarf. I don't know. Now I'm just making things up. Didn't she have a Western kind of looking Southwest scarf thingy?
I honestly cannot remember.
And you call yourself a Kiersten super fan. Please.
I have failed. I'm ashamed of myself. I should just leave this podcast.
I can literally kick you off the call.
I had to mute my microphone to look something up, so that was really funny. You didn't hear me chuckle. Anyway, continue.
Alright, so Winona saves Kirsten. Kirsten decides to stay in Purgatory with this awesome person she just met. And what else happens? She saves Waverly from Champ.
Shorty loves her.
Oh my god, Shorty adores her. Maybe she... Oh, you know what? Since she's such a fan of chestnut lattes, maybe Shorty gave her, like, a corner where she could set up a coffee shop in the one-stop shop that is Shorty's.
First of all, they already have coffee at Shorty's, obviously. So I feel like that's unnecessary, but okay.
Yeah, but she's like the new cool barista that can come up with, like, nifty names.
Yeah, like that Mr. Coffee in the back room doesn't really cut it.
Fine, I'll allow it.
So Kirsten opens the Purgatory equivalent of like Starbucks in Shorty's and introduces all of the revenants and Purgatory residents to overpriced, sugary coffee drinks.
What's the shop called?
Somebody more creative than me go.
You're the creative one. We're fucked.
I'm the creative
Okay.
one? This podcast
kidding.
is screwed.
Okay. All right. It is a coffee shop / bookstore in the corner. I mean, obviously, Shorty's just got a lot bigger. But it's
Yeah.
called Purgatory, where you come sip and read.
Perfect.
All right, allowed, done. Boom, that's what it's called.
So now Kirsten is running Purgatory, her book / coffee shop. And
I'm like in my head trying to picture the floor plan of Shorty's. It'd be like
me too.
maybe instead of having the like meth lab in the basement, Shorty gave her the basement because apparently there's like a side door because that's how the widows got in season 2. So maybe she just gets the entire basement to turn into like a cool coffee shop, bookstore, and then the side entrance is is like the main entrance.
But Waverly did blow out that exterior wall, so maybe they just like connected it to the building right next to it.
She didn't
after
blow the
that.
whole exterior wall out. She just put a tiny little hole in it.
Listen,
Just like...
it just gave them a vision, okay, for expansion.
Shorty's has expanded, and it has now become kind of a mall.
Shorty's Crossing.
So Kirsten has Purgatory. Oh man,
That's so great.
I'm glad we've talked this out. I'm glad we did basically zero prep for this episode to begin with.
I mean, the best shit comes out when we don't have any clue what we're doing.
Usually the best shit comes out when we aren't recording, unfortunately.
That's true.
No, this is like a writer's room brainstorming sesh. We got this.
So
You
what
can't come to the table with any preconceived notions.
That's all I bring to the table.
So we're going with that Kirsten would see through Willow's bullshit right away.
Thought you said Willow. Got super confused.
Me
Now I'm back
too,
on board.
me too.
Okay, cool.
Wait,
Maybe-
but we haven't met Willow yet. I almost said Willow. Okay, we haven't met Willow yet. So
I mean,
so
I haven't
let's
met Willow yet.
we can do a what if with her. She can come. I don't care.
That was an ERP review question, by the way. It involved Willow Rosenberg. Oh, I think you'll read it Monday. I think it's tomorrow.
Yep,
Way
this
to-
episode comes out in like 3 weeks, and that's totally.
You will have been able to read that 3 weeks ago with the first ERP review of the session, Kat Jetson. I'm sure you've all already read that.
So we're going to cut this entire little section out.
Maybe.
Doubt it. That
Fuck it,
part
it
is
all
definitely
stays
not
in.
getting... Yeah.
All right. So where are we at in the season, roughly, right now?
After she's opened up the coffee shop? No, I'm asking.
Like
so
she's,
far,
like
so
she's-
far she's walked into Shorty's, and that's basically it.
Well, did we? All right. Well, she went ahead and she created Way Hot. That was all her, not any work by them.
So when she expanded, Shorty's Mall, is that like a memoriam mall? Is he dead at this point in time? Or did she make it... Was she in the feed store with Champ instead of Shorty? Working her long game for Waverly.
Ooh.
And but she was healthy enough to survive the wound, whereas Shorty wasn't. So Shorty and Kirsten and Champ are all alive.
Accepted.
Yep, I'll allow it.
Yep.
And as a thank you, he gives her, the land next to Shorty's to build Purgatory. At a really sweet
Such
deal.
a good name.
It's
as a
really
thank you for saving
fantastic.
everyone.
It's gonna be the next T-shirt.
I really like this episode, which is Kirsten the fanfic.
Yeah. Just call it. They need to just say like Purgatory Coffee and Books on it.
Yes.
Oh
All right.
my gosh.
You'll lose your head over our coffee. Anyway, sorry.
Oh,
man.
what could have been? Okay, so the reason that Nicole comes into Shorty's to get the cappuccino is because Kirsten is setting up and says, "Oh, we're not ready yet," just so she'll go in there and talk to Waverly. But she really secretly was ready.
And Nicole's like, okay, I'll go in a bar that at 10:30 in the morning and ask for a coffee because the cute barista told me to, and she doesn't even question how confusing.
No, she told her, like, we're not ready, but there's a Mr. Coffee in the back next door, and I'm sure that the lovely lady over there would be more than willing to go make you a cup of shitty coffee.
And that's why Nicole knew what her name was.
Exactly.
Yeah, because Kirsten told her.
Oh, so they didn't meet at IKEA now. They met because of Kirsten.
Okay, yes. You know, because
Okay.
Nicole was at IKEA with Kirsten.
Oh, right. Obviously.
Because they're
Yeah.
friends. Kirsten is everywhere.
So Nicole, wait. So Kirsten is besties with Winona, but also Nicole.
Yes. It's a different kind of friendship.
I mean, it's impossible to not like Kirsten.
That is true. And she's single-handedly saving Waverly while making sure that Shorty doesn't die either.
Right.
She's
She's
basically
brought-
a Mary Sue.
Yeah, she's brought commerce to Purgatory.
And literature. Something that Champ would never have done. Just saying. Okay, maybe you guys think he's super well read. So. I was just thinking that when she opens up the bookstore / coffee shop, that, you know, if she ever wants to hide from him, that's all she has to do is go in there.
I was going to
there's
say
no
that
way.
Wayhat's first few dates were in the bookstore because they didn't want to deal with Champ's homophobia.
Yeah.
Also, she probably would put, like, a little sign on the door that is, like, Champ's face with a big X through it. Like, he's
I
already
don't think that's even necessary.
he's already been banned. It's not necessary because you'd never want to go in, but, you know, a matter of
Because
principle.
books.
Or what if the outside just said, like, all gluten all the time?
Yes.
Purgatory's first gluten-filled coffee shop. Yep, even in the coffee.
Excellent. We've created the anti-Champ business. All right. So are we at the point where Willa rolls into town?
I think so, and I think Kirsten meets her, like, and is like, oh, here's this lost person, you know, and she knows all the history, obviously, because they're all besties at this point in time. So she knows the whole story about the heir and the sisters. And then she's there when Willa shoots Peacemaker, and she sees it all come together, and then Waverly tells her about overhearing them in the barn, and that's when she starts to suspect that Willa is kind of a dick.
Wait. Let's back up.
I'm so sorry.
I assume in the pilot that Kirsten is the one who was backing them up from the tree line.
Yes. Of course she was.
I think she and Mama Earp were giving cover, you know, because they're also best friends.
So what's her relationship with Doc and with Gus?
And where does she fall into, like, the Black Badge group?
Ooh.
I think that Gus loves her because it's impossible to not. And she
I think
probably tells Winona she should be more like Kirsten.
I think she thinks that Kirsten brings stability to Winona's life, which is something that she needs.
Oh, I like that.
I like that too.
You guys sound so sad when I make a good point and you have to agree with it. It's hilarious.
No, it's not sad at all. It's like
How'd that happen?
you're processing through it and you're like, boom, yeah, that's like something I didn't think of.
Or if you want to believe that it hurts our soul to agree with you, by all means.
I think it's both.
No, I'm calling bullshit on that.
I think Dolls would have an issue with, like, he barely let Waverly in, and her research is, like, crazy. I think she would have to prove herself.
I think so too, and I think she wouldn't have trouble doing that, especially that way Dolls can shoot Jim faces at her whenever he notices shit. You just keep her around for that.
Well, when she was in the surplus store and she ends up saving everybody. then
That's it. That's
obviously
when she
he's going to
proved-
have a new respect for her. And I
That's the
still
one.
hate him at that point, so,
Question. So how is the surplus store thing going down? Because like, so she gets hurt instead of like Shree's not there. She gets hurt. She can survive the wound, but like, how does it play over at the like ritual site with Dolls holding Peacemaker, and then like Champ, Kirsten, and Winona being tied up? Like, does Kirsten, like, sense that Dolls is there and just shoot him eyes like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Get your ass over here.
Oh no. Where some of us got confused and thought Dolls was being all fresh with Winona, Kirsten, who is inside but also outside, saw that he was putting the tracker there, and she knows that he knows exactly where they are. So she's all, Dolls, anytime now.
Kirsten is everywhere and nowhere at the same time.
It's true. She was looking out the window. Whatever. I don't know.
You know, one of those stray gunshots blew a hole in the wall. And
Exactly.
she saw it through the hole in the wall.
Yep. That's what happened. It's canon now.
It is.
Or maybe she's like, some of the other people. Maybe she has like supersonic hearing.
Or, like, let's say that she doesn't have, like, she doesn't know that Dolls is there. But, like, is Dolls really gonna sacrifice Kirsten? Like, he was willing to throw Shorty under the bus. But, like, it's Kirsten, you guys.
That's true. They already have that bond of like, I see shit that's going on.
Yeah, I feel like he just, I don't know. I feel like he wouldn't be as willing to use her as collateral damage. Now, if Champ was in front and getting possessed, he'd be like, all right, yeah, let's do this.
I think he might have dropped Peacemaker, pulled out his Black Badge issue gun, and just dropped him for the hell of like, oh, well, there, you can't go into that body now. Problem solved. Kirsten and Dolls had this planned all along in order to get Nicole and Waverly together.
Late night scheming sessions on how to get rid of Champ.
Over hot cocoa, definitely.
With tiny marshmallows.
Of course.
Like, oops, wrong gun. My bad.
My bad.
Oh, Kirsten would have been in the club where they were snacking on ladyfingers, right? That would have been fun.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah. Well, she would have heard that Winona had, like, a mission in the big city, and so she's like, well, in case she needs backup, I should probably just be here.
I bet she also had, like, some of those wrestling moves. Like, she knocked Levi off Winona and got into that scuffle herself.
Because I think before she got on the bus in Toronto, maybe, she had just recovered from an injury from her stint as a professional wrestler, obviously. I mean, you can tell just by looking at her.
I'm
so
gonna
she was
go
able to use
MMA.
those. Oh, okay. Yeah.
She's a grappler.
She is a grappler. I could see that.
I mean, I could see Kirsten doing literally anything.
Okay, so we can finally go to Willa now. Sorry.
No, I'm not doing it. Oh, let's talk about Willa. No, let's go back to the very first episode. Oh, okay, sure. I'll just sit here and be quiet. Thanks.
Well, I mean, there's so much to unpack. This girl is, like, completely changing the dynamic of this entire universe.
Yeah, just remember that this is a minisode. This might have to be, what would Kirsten do part 1 of 7.
Well, maybe we can just do what if, like, in every episode and have this be a series.
We could do that.
Ooh.
I can't tell if she likes it or doesn't, BB.
Oh, she's into it.
I didn't know if it was an OOH or an EW.
Oh, sorry, my brain is going like a million miles a minute thinking of how we can add that to the episodes.
Yeah, she's in.
She's still trying to figure out how long it would take the bus to get from Toronto to the big city, I think.
I would like to know their stops.
Will you work on that and get back to us?
I'll have that information for you the next time we record.
Excellent. That would be great. Thanks.
Okay, wow, yeah. I'm sorry, my brain just short-circuited thinking about all of the episode-by-episode Kirsten stuff.
Oh, man. No, I almost broke you. I'm not going to say that. So are we going to talk about Willa?
Maybe someday.
Fucking assholes. Why am I in this podcast?
Because you love us and can't live without us?
That was masterful as fuck, and you know it.
It really was. Like,
I know it, I just don't have to like it.
That was like me-level trolling of Michelle. Normally you guys are nice to each other. That was beautiful.
What was happening? Oh, Willa.
Willa.
I don't think that she even had as much screen time as we've said her name in this episode.
I think you might be right.
So Kirsten went undercover in the cult as well, obviously.
Naturally.
In fact, she had already been scoping them out before the weird woodsy thing happened.
She was able to successfully cosplay as Yiska and get information from people who thought they were talking to their leader.
Well, the thing is, they were all brainwashed, weren't they?
I mean, it looked like it. That's usually what happens in a cult.
Well,
I thought that's just how girls were.
Do you think she called her dad?
I think that call would have gone to voicemail.
I think she is her dad.
Because she's everywhere and nowhere. All at
Exactly.
once.
I really want to make a Pretty Little Liars reference, but you guys won't get it, so I'll refrain.
You took up as much time saying that as you would if you just made the reference.
I know.
Do you know that we're not the only two people who listen to this podcast?
All right, fine.
I don't listen to this podcast.
I listened to it like 3 times. I'm so behind on My Favorite Murder now. I hope you guys are happy.
Ooh, you really need to listen to the new ones.
I'm like 50 episodes behind.
You really need to get on that. All right, what I was gonna say is that since Kirsten's everywhere and nowhere, she has like adrenalized hyperreality, like the Vander Jesus on Pretty Little Liars.
Good one.
Cool.
If anybody gets that reference who listens, please let me know.
It already got cut, so sorry.
Well, fuck you.
So she's inside the cult, like already waiting for Winona to get there because she's, probably slightly psychic as well.
Yes.
Winona comes in. Then what?
It's a really good question. She just low-key lurks in the background and watches Winona deal with all this stuff. And then instead of Willa coming into Winona's room, it's actually Kirsten who comes in with intel like, this is a fucking cult, you might want to call Shorty.
Also, I think she came in and she was like, you know that chick in the other room is your dead sister, right?
She just comes in and she's like, all right, let me just exposition out the plot for the next few episodes so we can get this going, because you really need to deal with her.
I think she came in with 2 chestnut lattes, handed one to Winona to, kind of soften the news a little bit. Where did she get them? I don't know. She keeps, a pop-up store for Purgatory as she travels.
Yeah,
So,
she's a barista. She just made it in the kitchen, like she does. Ground the
she
chestnuts
does.
herself from the trees outside.
So BT Dubs, that's your dead sister. And then...
And Winona's like, this coffee is great. And that's all she says.
She doesn't even process what Kirsten just told her.
That seems correct, yes. Totally in
Yes.
character.
Yes, very much so.
And then, I don't know, they escape. Kill Duco.
Yiska.
Nope, it's Duco.
Oh my god.
Now we're doing Orphan Black. Okay.
And then 7 Tatiana Maslanis are actually the rest of the cult.
Okay, that would be amazing.
And we wouldn't see it coming. We'd be like, oh man, what do you mean Dawes is played by Tatiana Maslany? I swear I've met Shamir Anderson before. No, Tatiana Maslany, okay.
Dolls just, pulls his face off like it's a reveal.
It's a Scooby-Doo episode.
Yeah.
I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for these pesky kids.
These pesky Tatiana Maslanis.
Damn it!
All right, so they deal with, Willa goes ahead and she fires Peacemaker as it goes in the actual episode. And Yiska is no longer an issue. They go to the police station, and Winona still doesn't process what Kirsten said about Willa being her sister. And then is it when Gus walks in that is Gus the one that really figures it out?
Wait. First of all, Helena was in the cult and she burns the building down when they leave.
Excellent.
And that scree-scraw music is playing in the background.
Oh my gosh. And Kirsten is like, what is that awful sound? Because she's also a little bit meta.
Yes.
And then so Helena burns down the building, and then she runs away talking about science babies.
Don't hurt babies.
This episode has gone off the rails.
I love it.
It started off the rails. It's just like ravine off a cliff now.
Now it's on the bus. Except for we got off, and you all know we should never do that. I think that this is the equivalent of us having to walk 3 miles in the woods to pee.
I think so. So, at the police station, Kirsten's standing in the background, sitting there like, it's your dead sister. I don't know what to tell you. And Wynona's still not getting it. And then Gus shows up and is like, holy shit, it's your dead sister. And Wynona's like, wait, what?
Wait, who?
And Kirsten's like, what the fuck, bitch? I literally just told you that.
And Kirsten shoots Dolls a look from across the room like, can you believe this bitch right now?
And then Wynonna wins that bitch award for that episode.
That bitch.
Because despite having the facts thrown at her, she still wants to be oblivious.
So then Wynonna is, of course, still very happy to see Willa and thinks like, you know, my sister, yay, good. But
And
Kirsten
Kirsten's like,
is not having that.
Yeah, Kirsten has, let's see, logic and is like, well, she's
logic, you say?
supposedly been dead for the past 15 years, and she's not. Let's not just assume that she is fine, because she did get dragged off by revenants. So maybe be a little bit cautious around her.
And Waverly's like, man, this Kirsten chick, she really, really has her finger on the pulse of Purgatory.
Let's see. Sorry, I got lost there for a second. Oh, so she's all like, so can I talk to you about something called found family? Because maybe you don't, you know, you should branch out a bit. This tree you got going on. So what's up with Kirsten and Waverly's relationship? Because Waverly's gotten knocked out a little bit here.
Okay. Well, I think that while Wynonna is still being like, she's just not getting that Willa might not be the best, Waverly gets that Willa might not be the best because she treats her like shit. And so I think Waverly goes to Kirsten and is just like, I just don't understand why she's such a bitch. Why Wynonna isn't seeing it. And Kirsten's just like Waverly's therapist, always there.
So Waverly finally has someone to talk to.
Finally!
And like when Willa walks in on her and Nicole in the barn, which seemed like an awfully drafty place to be. Anyway, she after Willa does that, Kirsten just like pops into the room and is like, I sense that you might need to talk.
Does she, or does she stop Willa from walking in the barn in the first place?
Oh, well, she comes in right after her and she's like, yeah, we're really going to need that wood, like, pronto. Get a move on, older Earp. Listen, I know you guys were used to doing things at a certain pace in your little cult, but we got it scheduled to keep around here, Missy.
That's right. You need to move a little faster there, Eve.
Here's who I want to see. Kirsten and Bobo.
They could share jackets.
They could.
They could
Fashion
share
advice, scarves,
I bet
boots.
Bobo loves chestnut lattes.
Obs.
Yeah.
I bet, like, Bobo, like, loves Kirsten, because everyone does, and Kirsten, like, gets along with him, tolerates him, knows that he's evil, but is, you know, keeping him relatively close so that she can keep her finger on the pulse of what's happening.
I think, too, that, like, you know, she's hanging out in the trailer park when he does his big angry speech and throws off his jacket. And I think she approaches him afterwards and she just looks at him and is like, I think you really just need someone to talk to. I think Bobo needs a friend. I think she sees that he's just sad. And she reaches out to him.
And I think she
Also-
also lets him
Go
know
ahead.
that performance was just a smidge over the top. Like, he could
Just a
dial
smidge.
it down. Like,
And
like
maybe,
11, bring it down to, like, an 8.
maybe she bought him a shirt.
Yeah. She walks up and tells him how extra he is. Then she asks if he needs anyone to talk to, but not before educating him on the proper care of fur coats, which you not just throw on the ground.
I have a theory. So, have you
It
guys heard
could be demons.
it might be demons. The opposite actually, have you guys heard, it was especially in season 1, but a little bit in season 2, about how a lot of people think that Nicole had to be something supernatural, and a lot of people had this theory that she was an angel.
I didn't
I
hear
never
any
heard
of that
that
at all.
version.
All right. Well,
I
anyway,
heard supernatural, but never angel.
I did hear some people say angel. I've heard other things like werewolf and I don't know, a whole host of stuff. But
Where
what
was
if
I when all of this conversation was happening? I haven't heard any of this.
You were still mourning over POI.
you might have
That's a
been.
good point.
Yeah. I had heard it in some places, and I'd seen some fanfic with both of those. But anyway, my thought was, what if Kirsten is an angel? That's how she survived the wound, at the feed store. That's why she can be everywhere and nowhere at one time.
I have no trouble believing this.
I have no trouble believing it, but angels are supposed to be so damn good, and I feel like she's just not that good.
Well, she's
She's
an
good enough.
archangel.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, I'll allow it. There we go.
Nothing about that makes sense that I just brought up. And it's totally fine. It's okay.
It doesn't need
Any
to
of
make
this
sense.
stuff that we've just said made any sense.
No, that's where I draw the line.
We have gone too far.
So I think that, can I jump to the end of the season, or is there anything else you guys?
Kirsten and Doc.
Oh, yeah, that. I really want to get to Kirsten and Mercedes, but yeah, we gotta do Kirsten and Doc.
Well, two, I think, unless you want this to be our entire episode, we need to maybe cap it at season 1. Maybe we do season 1. Maybe our 2 episodes are Kirsten season 1 and season 2.
Agreed.
Okay.
I mean, I really want to do like a ton of them, but yeah, we are running. We're already at 43 minutes.
Yeah, and it's 11:15, 13.
All right, let's do Kirsten and Doc, and then the end of the season, and done.
Okay.
Okay, so Kirsten and Doc, what's that look like?
I feel like, because, Doc starts off the season trying to, he wants everyone to believe he's a villain. And I think that she calls him out on his bullshit right away. Like, she sees through that facade.
Yeah, I think she realizes who he is almost immediately. And when he tries to pull the, I'm everybody's type, she's like, please, because I am too.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that when he goes off on Waverly for, trailing him to the trailer park, Kirsten would have dragged, because Kirsten was probably hanging out there too, would have dragged Waverly away super quick. And then when he walked into Shorty's and started yelling at her, Kirsten would have just, popped out. Or, when he left the bar, she would have been waiting for him, and she would have just, punched him in the face.
Agreed. 100%. Right in the nose. Or the throat.
So, just a question. Isn't Waverly at the trailer park at the same time Kirsten's at the feed store getting injured?
She can be everywhere and nowhere at the same
Okay.
time.
All right,
She
great.
has superpowers.
I was just trying to head off any possible explanations we were about to get. Just wanted to drive that point home.
Wait, I didn't think she was at the trailer park.
Well, I just said that she was at the trailer park, and got Waverly out of there. She doesn't necessarily need to be. She could just know that shit went down, which is why
She was the one who called her.
Yes.
Except for that was Nicole. But maybe the phone just kept ringing. You don't know.
We don't know.
She texted. Like any normal person.
Right. Well, you don't want to get the text that's like, hey, your sister's a hostage, TTYL. Like,
Kirsten could have worded it properly. That's all I know.
oh my goodness.
Also, when Kirsten found out that Waverly was found out because her ringtone was on, she would have given her a lecture on how nobody has ringtones on anymore. And if you do, you're probably a horrible person, so you should stop. I feel very strongly about people who leave their ringtone on.
I see that. I'm kind of a little taken aback.
Just put it on. I have a coworker who has his phone on fucking top volume, and he gets phone calls all the time, and it's really loud, and then he scream talks into his phone, and it's all personal calls all the time, and I just want to kick him. Sorry for
Kirsten
that
would kick
aside.
him.
That's definitely not an overreaction.
It's
I think
5
Kirsten
times
would
a
sit
day.
you down and you would kind of have a therapy session about how she wants to dig into your childhood or something. I don't know.
I
think we
am
could
now
all-
afraid of Kirsten.
I think we could all benefit from her in our lives.
She really just seems like such a sage, you know?
It's those superpowers.
I just really want to go to her coffee bar.
Purgatory.
Yes.
Such a good name.
I bet she has an orange mocha, which is a drink that we've only ever had in Europe, and Starbucks does not sell it here. And I'm still salty about it.
Does it have salt in it?
No.
Okay, that's okay.
So basically, Kirsten sees through Doc's bullshit, and then when he stops being an asshole, they get along fine.
Yeah, they're like buddies.
Yes, because they are both everybody's type.
Yes. They're friendly in a way that Waverly and Doc are, but not like the... There's almost like a...
They're more like bros.
Yeah, instead of siblings, which is more... I don't know. Doc and Waverly strike me as more of a familiar relationship than, like, pals.
Well, I think it has to do with the fact that they're ERPs, and he has such like a, you know, history related specifically to the ERPs. So it's kind of like he's part of the family.
I think she just comes out of the field after Waverly is talking to him in the pink car and really just drives Waverly's points home and is the one who ultimately makes him turn around.
She was like, after we get all of this straightened out, I will go with you to visit your mother in Valdosta.
Which is
He's like-
most clearly the other way from here.
Other way. Mhm. And he's like, okay, cool.
And then, you want to go to the end of the season
Do it.
with Bobo and Willa's big party?
Well, she's at the party, and she would have drank the champagne. Okay, you're not going to stop that girl.
Disagree.
But, come
Disagree.
on.
She
Go
would have
ahead.
had her own champagne in her purse because she doesn't trust Bobo.
I think she would have smelled something off about it immediately.
I was just going to say it didn't make her sick.
No, I think that she'd sense it right off the bat and be like, I'm not trusting fucking Bobo. I have my own champagne bottle in my purse because that's how I roll. And I'm going to warn everybody except Champ not to drink it.
I think that it would be... She has a bottle in her purse, no question. But I think it's like... Oh my god, why can I not remember, like, the... Like, hipster vodka? Because I'm not. That's why.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
That's fine. Not
So
not
does she
hipster,
have-
like basic. Like, it's such basic white girl vodka.
Like Absolute?
I don't know.
Still
Yeah,
see
that'll work.
Smirnoff.
Bacardi, something. I don't know. That's rum. Never mind. I'm cutting all this. I just picture Kirsten as more of a vodka girl.
Definitely.
So she brought champagne for the occasion, but she has her, like, trusty flask with her also.
Yes.
And then when things start to go to shit, she instantly is like, "Oh boy, this is not going well," and clues in everybody. Before Doc makes his appearance and like screams about it all being poisoned.
And then obviously at the police station, she like shoots Peacemaker out of Willa's hand and like messes up that whole quadrangle confrontation.
Yeah, like Willa is. It has the situation's the same, but like Kirsten just like pops out from like behind a cabin and is like, "Not today, bitch." Shoots it out of her hand.
I like the thought of Kirsten saying, "Not today, bitch."
Yeah,
I
that
really
works.
do too.
And she does it with like a slingshot
Because
Yes.
she's David.
that she made out of stuff she just like found in her purse. Like there's like a rubber band in there, which is like a scrunchie, and I don't know, some Q-tips and like
She MacGyvered the shit out of that slingshot.
some like lip balm, and I mean she's got this.
Yeah, so Willow's plan falls apart. Does she get away? Does she just flee? Like she did with, after she shot Nicole in?
Yeah, I mean she has to.
I think so.
Because we still need Winona, like, sliding under, like, the tentacle monster thing through the gate. Because
Yeah,
that's...
Willa has to get away because plot.
Yeah. So... Kirsten shoots the Peacemaker out of her hand, and Willow's just like, "Oh shit, I'm outclassed," and like runs out the door. And
I'm outclassed. Oh my god.
Classic Willa.
and then something happens. Somebody go.
It's all you, Kathy. Bring us home.
What did you just say?
I said it's all
I'm
you.
No. I'm outclassed, and Willa leaves. So, Lucado doesn't even have to come to Purgatory because obviously Kirsten can reverse engineer a cure to the champagne in the meth lab in the basement of Shorty's.
Is she secretly working for Lucado?
Lucado's secretly working for her.
Accepted.
Excellent. So they cure the entire town. She plans a non-fatal chili cook-off for next year, sponsored by her coffee shop.
Purgatory.
Thank you. I'm old. Memory's the first to go. I have to write that down. I would also like to mention that I kept up a picture of Kirsten this entire podcast so she could inspire me as we were talking about her. So Winona has none of the crippling guilt that she had at the end of the actual season, so that's nice. So she, like everybody just kind of hangs out and is happy, having a coffee, kind of like the end of season 2. Everybody's, but without the shady looks and underhanded dealings.
Creepy rings.
Yeah.
And that background music is different.
Yes.
Did
Kirsten plays the background music. She plays the harp.
Did Kirsten touch the goo?
Who touched the goo?
Kirsten is the goo.
Oh.
Oh man, what if we really were, possessed by Kirsten? Nicole's like, baby, I didn't think you drank coffee.
What's up
latte.
with your
Chestnut
sudden
latte.
obsession with chestnut lattes? I've never seen you have one. Shit, you barely even go to Purgatory for coffee. You just read.
And now you have a part-time job there.
That's better than creepy spiders.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, barely.
Kirsten can't change the story so much because, we need Gooberly and Goonona. It's kind of important.
Fine. Waverly is not possessed by Kirsten, even though she wants to be.
Who wouldn't?
I think we all want to be.
Yeah. So season 2 starts, it starts out similar, but just, how we got there was different, I think.
Yes.
So you have to stay tuned for season 2 of
the
Kirsten show.
Of Kirsten Survived.
Kirsten Earp.
It's I Survived
obviously...
Kirsten edition.
Yes, that's right.
Yes. And I'm super excited to talk about season 2, so.
I think it's going to be really good. I'm also super excited to talk about.
Okay, so is that all we have for Kirsten right now?
I think so, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you enjoyed this episode, please rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes and maybe Google Play.
Except that you can't actually... Yeah, that's not really a thing.
But subscribe.
But you can also leave comments on our new website that Michelle has created, which is lovely. It's erpsplainpod.com. You can tweet at or DM us at
erpsplainpod.
Pod, right?
Yes.
You can find me on Twitter at lesbianzer, Michelle at MicNick1291, and BP at Beep33TV. You can also leave us a voicemail at a phone number that I don't know, but BP sure does.
678-871-0098.
Or you can email us at somethingintheair@gmail.com.
You also have the opportunity to buy awesome merch if you go to erpsplainpod.com and select shop on the menu.
We're definitely going to have a new Purgatory coffee and books.
Yes. I'm
Coming
excited
soon.
about that. Thanks for listening, everyone. We hope you had a good time. We sure did. And remember, it may be a shit show, but it's our shit show. Did we get everything?
Hey everyone, Michelle here. You may have noticed that this episode we have a theme song, which is absolutely bonkers because we have been talking about making one, but absolutely none of us have any creativity aside from coming up with awesome coffee shop names. So we were just kind of going to leave it. And then today, miraculously, the day before this episode comes up, we got an email from Deb, who is at DebAge01 on Twitter, with the awesome theme song that you heard. And it's, I think it's inspired by My Favorite Murder, which is even better because we fucking love that podcast. So we just wanted to thank Deb and hope that you all enjoyed the new theme song.